Coming up next in India today, the supply of fake currency has shot up in election season. Beware, some of the notes that are being given by netas to voters to bribe them this election season could be fake. Operation Poll Money coming up on the other side.
ISI's fake currency operation. India Today's special investigation team unearths syndicates flooding the election campaign with counterfeit notes.
बड़ा पार्टी को फेक करेंसी दे चुके हैं। हाँ, मतलब वो छोटे जो मतलब वो पीते हैं उनको हजार नोट चलो ये ले लो दो।
Bogus money pours into the coffers of candidates, who in turn use it for unaccounted expenses, including vote buying. Stay tuned for India Today's startling investigation on fake currency.
One of the big problems in Indian elections is that netas tend to give 2,000, 5,000 rupees to voters to get them to vote for their party. Where is this currency coming from? We've always known that this money is largely illicit. Now it turns out that some of the currency that's being collected for the elections is fake. It works for the political parties because they can get 100 rupees worth of fake notes for 50 rupees. So it's actually a saving for them, as a result of which fake currency operators are making a killing in poll season. The ISI has apparently set up a fake press, a printing press that mints fake Indian currency inside Bangladesh, which is where this money is coming from. The India Today Special Investigation Team, led by Jamshed Khan and Sushant Pathak, infiltrated this fake currency nexus. They bring you Operation Poll Money. Sit back and watch how, and this is what I want you to look out for most carefully. If there are voters who are getting money from that neta, check the note. That note could be fake. Take a look.
The world's costliest election, estimated at rupees 50,000 crore, but the money pouring in may not be all clean. A damning investigation by India Today has found a flood of fake currency during the ongoing campaign. Our undercover reporters caught the ringleaders on camera. This is Bashir Ahmed Bhatt. By his own admission, he works for the ISI in India. When our investigative reporters met him at a hotel in East Delhi early April, he revealed the entire modus. Listen in.
इलेक्शन चल रहा 19 का जनरल इलेक्शन, इसमें इस्तेमाल हो रहा है फेक करेंसी। हाँ, मतलब पार्टी वालों ने ये खड़ा किया ये सब, मतलब गैरों से क्या गिला शिकवा, अपने ही मतलब ये लूटते हैं, अपने ही करते हैं, अपने ये कहाँ से आ रही है फेक करेंसी? इसका कनेक्ट है मतलब पाकिस्तान। रूट क्या है इसका? रूट है ना बांग्लादेश से
नहीं, जो ओरिजिन है जहाँ से बन रहा है ये
वही मतलब बांग्लादेश
नहीं, आप कह रहे पाकिस्तान अभी बोल,
मतलब उधर उनके मतलब जो आका जो है वो चलवाते हैं कहाँ पे, मतलब चिक्की उन्होंने बनाई है इधर बांग्लादेश में।
A startling confession: fake Indian banknotes printed in Bangladesh on ISI orders and being funneled to India. Remember, buying and selling votes is a crime. But if you are a service provider to politicians, or you see politicians trying to woo you with cash, be doubly aware. The unaccounted money on offer could just be fake. Bashir told India Today that a number of political parties have bought counterfeits from his underground network.
अच्छा, ये जो अभी 19 का चुनाव चल रहा है जी, इसमें कितनी पार्टियों ने अप्रोच किया है फेक करेंसी के लिए? सबों ने, ये सारी पार्टियां मतलब ये एक दूसरे को थोड़ी बताएंगे या हमें बताएंगे, आपको बताएंगे।
मतलब पार्टी को फेक करेंसी दे चुके हैं।
हाँ, मतलब वो छोटे जो मतलब वो पीते हैं उनको हजार नोट, चलो ये ले लो 2000।
तो ये इनको जो डिलीवरी आपने कराई है, जो सियासी पार्टियां आप बता रहे हैं, तो इनको भी वही ले रहे हैं, बंगाल सबको।
The ISI's counterfeiting is doing brisk business. Bashir and his accomplice offered to sell fake bills in large quantities at half their original value.
2000 के होंगे, 500 के होंगे।
कहीं चला ले कोई पकड़ेगा कभी कि ये फेक
बगैर मशीन के, मतलब बैंक में आप नहीं डाल सकते, बैंक के बगैर आप कहीं नहीं चला सकते।
अच्छा, क्या रेट है आपका?
वहाँ से 50-50।
जैसे मान लीजिए हमें 1 लाख चाहिए फेक करेंसी, 50,000 में ओरिजिनल देना पड़ेगा।
A dark web of counterfeits. High time the law enforcement control the epidemic before it bleeds the country's economy again. With Jamshed Khan and Sushant Pathak of the Special Investigation Team. Bureau Report, India Today.
So to understand what government agencies ought to be doing to deal with this problem, it's vicious at various levels. Imagine the currency that could be given to voters could potentially be fake. They're buying fake notes because it just reduces at least by half the cost of conducting the election. This is wrong at just so many completely different levels. Vikram Singh is a former Director General of Police. Narendra Taneja represents the BJP. Salman Soz represents the Congress. T.S. Krishnamurthy is a former Chief Election Commissioner of India, has been responsible for conducting polls. I want to go across to Mr. Krishnamurthy first. From what these operators told us, it seems that the ISI of Pakistan has set up a minting press inside Bangladesh to print this fake currency, and you've got operators from different political parties going to the Bangladesh border, buying this currency in bulk and then using it to fund the election process. Mr. Krishnamurthy, what are you making of this India Today investigation?
Well, first of all, let me compliment and congratulate the India Today investigation team for discovering this. Although it is very shocking to me, I am not surprised because our political parties have not shown any anxiety to deal with the problem of electoral reforms. There is a need for electoral reforms, particularly in matters relating to electoral funding. Unfortunately, whatever change that has been brought about, especially the electoral bond which has come, it only adds to the cost of election and does not improve transparency. And if people are going to get this money, they are not only handling fake currency, but they can be prosecuted. The voters must know that they can be prosecuted for handling fake currency. I'm afraid that the political parties should soon realize the need for bringing the electoral reform as far as the funding of political parties, funding of the elections are concerned. It is no longer left to the government. We should ensure that the money is not spent by political parties, they don't get money, and it should be spent only by from a national election fund to be administered by the Election Commission, which I have been advocating for quite some time.
Vikram Singh, instead of stopping the use of fake money, it turns out that operators acting in behalf of netas of multiple political parties, and we're not signaling out one party here because it's very clear this is being done according to our investigation by various parties. They're sending them to the Bangladesh border. They're buying this fake currency because it reduces the cost of funding the election by half, because you can pay voters, you can buy things in fake notes. This is the strangest and the most shocking thing I've heard during this poll campaign.
Mr. Rahul, compliments to you and India Today for unearthing and going to the biggest racket in these elections. Yes, it comes at a 50% discount and it reduces the cost by 50%. It's a win-win situation for ISI and unscrupulous politicians. Indeed, what was the favorite conduit was Indo-Nepal border. Now probably, according to your scoop, is the Bangladesh border. What was Bahawalpur earlier has now become the printing press in Bangladesh. and at a 50% margin. This used to be 30% margin in earlier elections. Now they also are selling at a 20% premium, making it to 50%. I think the NIA, the IB have their hands full in getting after them. It should not be difficult. If your reporters have been able to access and go up to Bashir in Delhi, it should not be difficult for NIA. And as Mr. Krishnamurthy has said, sections 498A, 498B, 498D are the provisions of the Indian Penal Code, as also the provisions under the National Security Act, under which the police can prosecute those handling fake Indian currency. More importantly, only 3 banks have come up to the expectations of unearthing fake Indian currency. They are HDFC, ICICI and the Axis. But the banks who deal with more cash flow, like the State Bank, have a greater role to play. The Reserve Bank has a greater role to play. Post demonetization, it was expected with higher security features. This should not have been a problem, but obviously now, Mr. Rahul, it is a problem, and all the intelligence agencies, the Reserve Bank and the banking industry need to come in together.
Okay, Narendra Taneja, post demonetization, the claim by the government was that additional security features have been added to notes. It will become difficult to counterfeit. It turns out that the ISI now has a functional printing press inside Bangladesh, not just racketeers going there, but netas are also going and buying these fake notes. The demand in the election season running high, and what's strangest is that when netas may be bribing the voter, even that note may not be true. This just shows how corroded the democratic process has become at so many different levels. Mr. Taneja, the BJP's first reaction, please.
Yeah. Rahul, compliments to you and to your channel. I think this is a very important investigation, and clearly shows that ISI has relocated its headquarters in terms of the fake currency printing as infrastructure to Bangladesh. And you see, first of all, in Bharatiya Janata Party, we don't deal in cash at all. All payments we make are by check. Every single thing, right down to a cup of tea, that's offered to people who come to the party headquarters in Delhi or any part of the country. So we don't deal with cash. So we have nothing to, we can never ever be part of such a thing. And those who are, they will be investigated after your report. Now the question, we know, there are information, we have heard about that. A lot of some political parties, particularly in West Bengal, are using it. They are flooded with cash, we are told. They are using money, they are using violence, they are using guns, they are using stone, they are using every possible tool in their hand in order to, hold on to power in West Bengal. We know about that. And they are also very close. They know precisely where to go in Bangladesh. They have got there thousands of people who are involved in such things. So the government is aware, and after your report, this will be further investigated.
Salman shows the BJP's claim is we don't even pay for pakoras with cash. All our chai is paid for in check as well. They're saying let there be a probe, we'll catch the opposition leaders who've been doing it, we'll send them to jail. How does the Congress react? Salman Soz.
Well, first, Rahul, I join the others in congratulating you and your channel, and I hope that, because we still have 2 more phases to go, I hope the Hindi channel Aaj Tak also picks this up and spreads this message, because there'll be many unsuspecting victims of this fraud. Unfortunately, many politicians don't do the work of people, and then they actually pay them fake money to buy their votes. I don't know what, it's kind of mind-blowing to my, it's really crazy. But be that as it may, I thought demonetization was undertaken as a surgical strike on counterfeit money. Despite the RBI's reservations, the government went ahead with it, and of course, what do we see? That counterfeit money remains there. And by the way, all the security features, I think all the chip-based currency was given to BJP people, because nobody else seemed to receive it. As far as Mr. Taneja's contention that the BJP only does no business in cash, I think, Rahul, you are you're one of our foremost journalists. You've been on the ground, you see all the rallies. I think they've set up Paytm counters for all the people who come to their rallies. It's either Paytm or maybe some other kind of payment, of course, or maybe they take checks, because according to Mr. Taneja, nobody takes cash. This is unbelievable stuff. I think the government, for all its rhetoric, has failed on so many fronts, including on this. And this is one more a nail in the coffin of demonetization.
Mr. Krishnamurthy.
It's such a sad story. I feel bad, really terrible for the people who are falling victims to this crime.
You know, what I don't want is denial. Because if, for example, major party is saying, hum nahi karte, opponents karte, unko pakad ke jail mein dal denge, that's a problem. Because the fact is, and I don't mention specific names in this story, for only the reason that the operators told us that all parties are doing this. You know, scales may vary, intensity may vary, but everyone is doing this. Therefore, if you say, oh, we pay in check, others are doing this in cash, that almost suggests that you're even not prepared to believe the fact that there could be some wrongdoing happening. There should be a free and fair investigation by the NIA and catch anyone who's caught, as opposed to saying, oh, this can't be us, this has to be Mamata Banerjee, this has to be the Congress, it has nothing to do with us. Mr. Krishnamurthy.
Well, I don't think this is the time for the political parties to indulge in mudslinging and finding out who is responsible. What is more important is democracy is in danger by this kind of funding of the elections. The whole democratic setup that we have, the constitution that we have, they're all under threat by such practices adopted by foreigners and by the Indian political personalities resorting to it. I'm not worried which party is interested or which party is not interested. The issue is we have to save democracy from this great danger. If it is not dealt with immediately, I'm afraid this will also go the same way, and we will have more and more money, fake money coming into Indian system. So it is absolutely necessary, as Mr. Vikram Singh mentioned, the enforcement agencies should immediately set their action in motion without any further delay.
Now, Narendra Taneja, you know, I'm a bit disappointed with the fact that you say that this is only our opponents, especially those in West Bengal, who are doing this. You should have said instead that, okay, this is disturbing. We need to check who's doing this. We need to check who's responsible, and whoever is found guilty will be acted against, as opposed to saying that our opponents in West Bengal are doing it, we'll catch them, we'll throw them in jail, congratulations for investigation. That's not the right approach. You start by saying, whoever is responsible, let the NIA probe. If anybody in the BJP is found doing the same, act against him as well, Mr. Taneja.
No, Rahul, I mean, that goes without saying, but I pointed out West Bengal in particular, because one wonders, where is all that money coming from? I mean, this particular party in West Bengal is flooded with cash. It's just cash. So one wonders, you know, we are fighting with them on the ground. So we know that. That's why I pointed out West Bengal in particular. But of course, I agree with you. That broadly is the line. But look at, for instance, we know it, ISI is very jealous of India's growing economy. They want to undermine our economy. They want to undermine our democracy. And that's why, you know, from Pakistan, they're not able to do it any longer.
So
they have now, after demonetization,
is asking what happened to all those claims post demonetization. You said that one of the big reasons that you were doing demonetization was to prevent this, so that the ISI can't fake Indian currency.
Absolutely. Yeah, but look, yes, absolutely, that was the idea, and we have contained it to a very great extent. But your investigation clearly shows they opened up a new front. And of course, we will go and plug that too.
So Salman, respond to that.
But our
it's not as if you can blame demonetization. That was a big move against fake currency. Now, if they found a way out, the government claims we'll go after that, we'll plug that gap.
You know, frankly, I mean, this government is on its way out. It's been a total failure and incompetent government. So I don't really want to comment on something where I know the people are already making the judgment, and I think it's going to be a resounding verdict on May 23rd. What I do want to say is Mr. Krishnamurthy made a very important point, and he talked about cleaning up India's electoral funding mechanisms, and he specifically mentioned you know, electoral bonds. In the first year, the data for which data was released, the BJP received 210 crores out of 215 crores of electoral bonds money. You know, that just and this is this totally opaque system of legalized corruption, basically, that Mr. Modi and Mr. Jaitley have thought up. And they put 5 crores.
Final words, Vikram Singh, on the back of this investigation, as a former police officer, what do you believe needs to be done?
One more second, Rahul.
Go on, Mr. Soos. Quick final words. Yeah, Rahul, I just want to take this opportunity, Rahul, to let you know
that you broke a story, or you mentioned the story about the former Prime Minister and INS Virat. Today, the former naval chief has contradicted the Prime Minister. I expect that India Today and you will carry that.
What is this?
There's a separate debate we'll debate it. Vikram Singh,
Rahul, what are we discussing?
What do you believe needs to be done very quickly on the back of this investigation by India Today?
I'm happy to debate that. I submit, please, that we are discussing the fake Indian currency and the fake Indian currency, that all the intelligence agencies must come up together. And I do hope that by the time this show is over, Bashir would have been lifted from his hotel and the entire gang is put behind bars, thoroughly interrogated, subjected to narco analysis and lie detector tests, and go after them. It is too serious a matter to be relegated to the Thana level investigation, but the top agencies and the top investigators must pull their heads together, as Mr. Krishnamurthy has very wisely said, and I totally agree with sir.
Okay, I'm going to leave it over there. We saw the National Investigation Agency swing into action after a big expose on the Hurriyat. We've put out the names of certain people who are part of the fake currency racket. Their identity is established. We have their telephone numbers. The NIA can contact us. As Vikram Singh says, we expect that they be put behind bars. And not just does the agency go after opposition leaders who may have taken fake currency, but go after all leaders regardless of which party they belong to. This is an important investigation. I want to thank our guests for joining us. We will follow up to see what happens next. Thank you for tuning in. More on the other side. Stay with us.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you would love to.